Hi, my name is Jados, and I'll show you guys how to get the best FPS for Rainbow Six Siege. So for starters, we're going to go to your search bar and search up Windows PowerShell. After you search this up and click on it, there should be a link in the description that you should be able to copy and paste. Let me have it on my computer. There it is. You can also copy it from my screen. All you're going to do is press enter, press yes, and then you should see this screen pop up in just a second. Wait, there it is. Don't click on anything just yet. Go to Tweaks tab right in the top. Now press on Desktop and make sure you press the checkmark box, delete temporary files, and run this cleanup. Then after you're done with that, just press Run Tweaks. And it's going to take a bit for you, most likely, but I've already done this earlier. That's fine. So, and here you can also turn off mouse acceleration. You can also change a couple of like desktop settings that you may not like. For instance, the Bing search and start menu. You can turn that off if you would like. But personally, I'm not going to do that right now, so feel good. Now, all you have to do is go to your updates and just press security recommended settings. On this, then you should be good. Now close everything. And now you're good. Next thing we're going to talk about is NVIDIA control panel. Now all you're going to do is search up NVIDIA control panel and open it. Go to your manage GD settings. Now, if you don't see image scaling, what you're going to do is go to your search bar right here. All right, give me 1 second, sorry. Go to your search bar, search up registry editor, okay? After you search up registry editor, you shouldn't be able to see everything you see on my screen. So you're going to click on this box. It should be empty for you. And you're going to copy and paste the fucking text that I put in the description. So after you press on this, you should look it up, press enter. Now you're going to look for find enable GR 535. Find it, 535. Here it is. You're going to click on this and set the value data to 0. Now press OK. You're going to close this. And you're going to reset your NVIDIA control panel. Now, when you go to your manage duty settings, you should see your image sharpening right here. I'll turn this to 0.7. Whoops. 0.7. And I wouldn't touch the ignore film grain. So I would just press OK, and now you should be good. After you're done changing your image sharpening, I'm going to explain to you the difference between global settings and program settings. So in global settings, basically everything you change in here affects every single game that you play. So one thing I'm going to talk about later is going to be the low latency mode. So now when you go to your program settings, it's going to only change a couple of things for a couple of games that you go to click on. So I'm not sure why that's loading. Weird. But normally it would show like a large, like a long list of all the games and other applications that you have on your computer that you would click on. So for instance, for me, I would specifically click on Rainbow Six Siege Vulcan, and then I would scroll down over here and turn low latency mode off. But I'll explain what low latency mode is a little bit later in the video. Let's go back to your global settings. So these are the best global settings I'm going to show you. Ambient occlusion, I would have this on off. Anisotropic filtering, I would have this on application controlled. FXAA, I would have this on off. Gamma correction, I have this on off. Anti-aliasing mode, I would have this on application controlled. Anti-aliasing transparency, I have this on off. And then background application max frame rate, I would have this at 30 FPS. So basically the reason this isn't like max frame rate for in general, it's just like anything that's running in the background, it will basically be in 30 FPS. So let's say maybe you have Minecraft and Siege open. If you have it running in the background, it'll turn to 30 FPS. Now, the scary part, or the quote unquote scary part, is when you open up Siege for the first time, it's gonna like register it as a background application, and you'll see like the bottom left of your screen, it says 30 FPS. All you have to do is just Alt Tab, and it should fix it. But I'll show you later, so you should be fine. Now your CDUA GPUs, I would have this on all. System fallback policy, I'd have this on driver default. And now this one's the one different one, the manage GT settings. It is a bit weird. So go to your DSR. You're gonna click on this. Now you're gonna click yes, or you're gonna click every single check mark that you can. This one actually affects like your PC performance or your game performance. All it does is just open up like more doors when it comes to like resolutions that you might want to play with. So if you ever like watch our streamers and they go to their display settings, and you'll see like they'll have like 2560 by 1440. Basically, this opens lets your display settings in game, allows you to click on all of these different resolutions. So it won't actually affect like your FPS count or anything, but it's a pretty interesting thing. I don't have this on. I would have everything on. So DSR smoothness, I have this on 33%. Latency mode as a global setting, especially for like older games, I would have this on. But any games that have like NVIDIA plus boost or any of those type of things, I would go into the program settings, click on those individual games, and make sure it's off. But for any games, like for instance, like if you play Fallout or it's other single player games that doesn't have that option, I would have this on or an ultra. And your max frame rate, I would have this on off. MFAA, I would have this on. Your GDI compatibility, I have this on auto. And I'm just going to list it off now. So it would be auto select, power management normal, preferred refresh rate, it would be application controlled, shader cache size 5 gigabytes, anisotropic sample optimization, I would have this on off. Negative LOD bias, I would have this on allow. Texture filtering quality, I have this on performance. Trilinear optimization, I would have this on, and then threaded optimization, I have this on auto. Triple buffering off. Vertical sync, use the 3D application setting. Virtual reality pre-rendered frames, I'll have this on 1. Virtual reality variable rate super sampler, I'll have this on adaptive, and then auto to finish it all off. Now let's go to your change resolution part. Make sure that you're using the max refresh rate on your computer. So for me, I have it on 280 hertz, and I would recommend using the native resolution on your desktop as well. Last thing, let's go to display, adjust desktop color settings. So let's say you have like a kind of a shitty monitor, not that good. So all you have to do is go in here. I would recommend tweaking around with this. If not, then you can pretty sure there's a restore to default button. If not, this is the default settings, so you can copy it down. But the first thing I would do is adjust your digital vibrance to 75% if you have a shitty monitor. But personally, my monitor is pretty good, and they did tune the colors pretty well. So I just left it on default, and I'm not really going to touch that. So just press apply. You're done with this, and now we're going to talk about your in-game settings. And I'll cut to the next part of the video. Okay, now we're back. Now we're gonna go to your in-game settings. Let's go to general and quickly run this down. Display performance metrics, I would have this on minimal metrics. Let's make sure that your drone after prep phase is manual. Diffuser pickup is on both. Now let's go to HUD really quick. Let's just go to the ones that actually impact your FPS. I would turn off bands and gameplay warnings and operator guides. These both take away a little bit of your FPS. I would turn those both off. So one thing I would recommend to change in here, especially, is your dynamic range. I would have this on night mode. The reason you want it on night mode is because gun shooting and gun firing will be a lot quieter, but footsteps will remain the same as hi-fi. So basically all it does is like reduce the gun firing like sound. So it won't be as loud, and basically it pronounces the footsteps a lot better. So you'll be able to hear people walking better with this. I know some people use hi-fi for some fucking reason. Don't do it. Let's go to display settings. Make sure that you have it on your native resolution, full screen. Make sure your refresh rate is at 280 hertz. And everything else is personal preference. Personally, I would use 4:3 aspect ratio and the 84 FOV. Everything else afterwards is basically your personal preference. We go to graphics settings. Now this is what I was talking about, the NVIDIA reflex low latency mode. So for this game, you see I have the option. I have it on plus boost. So that's why I turned it off in the program settings in the video control panel. Now the latency flash indicator, I have this off. Texture filtering, I have this on low. Texture filtering and quality, sorry, I'd have this on low and linear. LOD quality, basically what this does is if you have them very low, it actually won't even affect your FPS or the amount of storage that your GPU is using. So you can have this on very high and it won't really affect your computer all too much. But what LOD quality does is basically, let's say you're streaming or if you want to play games in general, LOD quality, if you have them very low, like walls at a further distance would basically look shittier. It'll be a lot blurrier and it'll be harder to see people further away. So you want to have your LOD quality on very high, so the walls that you're looking at and also the people, they'll be pronounced better and it'll be easier to see things further away. Now shading quality, I would have this on low. Shadow quality, I'll have this on medium for competitive advantage and not for obvious reasons. I mean, like if you can get a kill because you could see this guy's shadow, then all by means it's a worth it setting to have. So I would have this on medium. If you have a better computer, you can maybe turn it up higher, but medium's generally where you want it to have. Now reflection quality, all of this I would have on low and off, and I wouldn't touch the NVIDIA Deep Learning Super Sampler. Basically what this is like DLSS mode. It's supposed to help you with your FPS, but I just wouldn't really use it or touch it for this game, mainly because this game is so old. It's almost 8 years or 9 years old now, like, and they just introduced this thing. It's not really gonna work. I wouldn't touch this. Now this next part, anti-aliasing mode. Before you turn this off, make sure that you have it on TAA, or I'm pretty sure you can have this on FXAA. Doesn't really matter. What you're gonna do is you're gonna reduce your render scaling and your sharpness to 25 and 0, and then you're gonna turn it off. Now it does take a little bit out of your GPU storage, but it's a worth it thing to have off. The reason for that is because it's the screen in front of you is going to be a little bit more pixelated, but because of the extra pixelation, you'll be able to see extra, like the player models will be a little bit larger, and you can see these white little pixels from further away at long distances, and you can get a free kill because of that. It's gotten me like a couple of kills so far. I just recommend having it off. It's a worth it setting to have it off. I go to your controls. Now go to your controls. Raw input mouse / keyboard. Some people it's bad. Some people it's good. Like I've always been recommended to have it on or off. It's been like kind of 50-50. Back then it was really strongly recommended to have it on off, but now it's kind of gotten better. So I just have it on. So I have a faster latency speed with my mouse. Everything here should be right. Make sure that you have your mouse scroll wheel turned off. I recommend that is so you don't accidentally switch between your guns while shooting at somebody. And when you have this off, all you have to do is just press 1 or 2 to switch between your primary and secondary. Next thing, make sure you get your privacy. I would hide avatar and turn that on. So for that is it actually increases your FPS by like 1 or 2. It's not that big of a deal, but it does. Then you go to accessibility. Make sure you turn off your screen shake intensity. Basically what this is let's say a nitrocell or a grenade gets thrown nearby you, it'll shake your screen a lot and it will affect your aim or your like crosshair placement. So having this off would, like, obviously it'll turn that off completely, and it'll just be easier to aim at people in general. Now your opposing team color, I would have this on blue. The reason for that is because claymores are in general are so much easier to see when it's blue as compared to when it's red or orange. Even for like outside with claymores and shit, they're just so much easier to see. So I'll just have the opposing team color in blue, and then your team color you can have it on red or orange, it doesn't matter. Just make sure it's blue for your opposing team color. Now everything else is personal preference. And yeah, that should be it. But yeah, now your FPS should be increased but heavily, and you should be able to rank up easier and get more kills. Now that should be everything I could teach you. Have a good night, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.